Hey gang, hello, welcome to week 5 task 2. Yes, we are week 5 and we are task 2, and for that I'm going to get a big high five. Very good gang, I hope you are all super duper well and feeling good and being happy wherever you are out there in the UK. I know we're reaching out to lots of you all over the UK, and I know we're all in a funny place at the moment. But whatever you're doing, the most important thing, stay safe and look after yourselves and each other, okay? So, we're not going to let the madness of the world stop us from crafting. So, we are week 5 task 2, gang. Grab them for your bags. As always, if you are... what am I saying? If you haven't got it from your bag, grab it. It's week 5 task 2, and as we go through this, if you need to pause me, good thing about the pre-records, you can stop me from talking at any time you like, and we'll crack on from there. So go get your bits if you haven't got them already. Pause me and then come back and we will crack on. So I'm up here in the corner. And you're looking straight down here so you can see what's going on nice and easily. So week 5 task 2, let's open him up. We have, oh yes, I know what we're doing now. Sometimes I have to remind myself. So we got this little bad boy with some clay. Yes, this is our air drying clay, big people. So if any of you guys haven't worked with this before, we'll talk through that in a moment, but it is clay, so be careful. Also, you'll find in the bottom of the bag lots of little bits. Now, rather than pouring all of these out on the table, my top tip for you guys is to take the bag and just rip it like that. Then you'll be able to open it up and see what's in there. Kind of like a little bowl that you can kind of make, and you'll see all of our lovely little beads are in there, okay? Now, if you have got a little bowl, you can of course just pour them into the bowl. That's fine. As I said earlier, we'll be going through every step of this. No fast forwarding or cheating or anything like that. But I may do it just a little bit quicker than you guys are going to be able to follow. So if that happens, I'll give a definitive break at each point so you can pause me and catch up, okay? So beads can stay to one side for the moment. Obviously be careful with those, they're a little bit little. And we're going to open up our clay. Now, like I said, this is air drying clay, so it doesn't need to be baked or put in an oven or a microwave or anything weird like that. You just have to, once we finish, you just have to leave it on the windowsill and it will be absolutely fine. You don't put it on directly onto too much heat because it will crack. So put that to one side, we're going to hold it. Now, what you'll find is if you hold it in your hand, as well as it being quite heavy, it's also going to be a little bit cold and quite hard, quite firm. So the best way to work with clay is to have it soft and warm, okay? Soft and warm. And the way we do this is, I'm going to switch over. Let me take over here. So the way we do this with our clay is we hold it in our hands. We don't eat it, no, very bad to eat this. And we squeeze, okay? So we're going to squeeze. So we hold in our hand like this. And all we do is squeeze and squeeze. And I will know if you're squeezing properly because you will have a very good squeezy face, okay? So this is my squeezy face with a really big squeeze. You ready? Everybody watching, Alan? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Squeeze! Like that. And that's a really good squeeze. Now, this is quite a big lump of clay, this bad boy. So if you want to, you can break it up into 2 pieces maybe and squeeze one in each hand, and we're squeezing, and as we squeeze what we're doing is we're helping develop these lovely muscles in our hands, which are really important for when we come to doing some writing. So we're going to squeeze and squeeze. I'm going to switch this back over onto this one. I'm going to have, so in both hands, and we're just going to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and we're going to keep doing that, and the more we squeeze you'll see it's becoming a little bit softer. Yeah, a little bit softer. Now you're going to get this little white kind of clay pieces on your hand. Don't worry too much about that, but at the end we do want to make sure we give it a nice wipe off, okay? So we're going to squeeze, and we're going to squeeze, and we're going to squeeze. Then, if your two pieces that you've made are pretty even, then what I want you to do, once it gets nice and warm and soft, is split those into half again. So we end up with 4 pieces about the same size, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So about the same size. So you can squeeze those again if you want to and make them just a little bit softer. Okay, same with this one. 1, 2, squeeze them in our hands. Very good. And this one, my phone is beeping. There you go. Squeeze, and this one, squeezy, squeezy, squeezy. Right, now what we're going to do is turn each one of these into a little ball. Okay, now the way we do that is you can put it on the table like that. And then you get your hands, a high five hand, whichever way you're looking at me, and you put it down on top gently, and we're going to go round and around and around and around. Let me move these bad boys out of the way. So we're just going to put them on the table and put on the middle of our hand here, gently put it on top, and we're going to make little circles with our hands. So we make little balls. We're going to go 1, number 2, that'll do, number 3, nice and gentle, round and around and round. I'm going a bit fast, but you can go really slow. Very good. And then the last one, number 4, round and around and around. There you go. So we're going to end up like this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 little balls, okay? Now, what we're going to do with each one of these is we're going to roll them, but this time, instead of going around and around, we're going to go forwards and backwards. Forwards and backwards, okay? So we're going to go forwards, backwards. And if you watch what's happening, it's turning from a ball, and it's going to turn into like a sausage shape, okay? Forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. Now, we don't want to really thin, long sausage. So this one is about the width of my hand. So you can see it's hiding underneath my hand. So if I put it on top of my hand, oop, there we go. There. So it's about the width of my hand. So you guys, obviously you little people, it's going to be about 2 of your hands wide. Big people, depending on how big your hand is, it's about 3 inches or so, something like that. Whatever length we make them, we're going to do all 4 of them about the same length, okay? So it's a bit bigger than a little bit longer than a credit card kind of size. It doesn't really matter. We don't want them too small. It doesn't matter if they're a little bit thicker, but we want them all about the same length, okay? That's the important bit. So there's 3, and if they're a little bit different, it doesn't really matter because it's clay. And until it dries hard, we can kind of tweak it as much as we want. Okay, so we're going to go about that. So we get 1, 2, is that about the same? Yeah, they're about the same. So as you can see, once they're done, you can squeeze them in a little bit to flatten them up a little bit like that. Beautiful job. Right, now here's the fun bit. So I'm going to take off 4 pieces. Going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to take the first 2 and we're going to put them straight like this away from our belly. So out this way. 1. I'm going to get number 2. Now you can guess the space for the moment. Number 2. Then we're going to get number 3 and we're going to cross it over. Now for the moment we're just going to gently leave it on top. Just like that. Very good. And then we're going to do the same with the bottom. So we create like a little log picture frame. Okay, so we got a little bit sticking out here, a little bit sticking out there, a little bit sticking out there, a little bit sticking out there, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to get our fingers and very gently, where the 2 pieces cross over on the top, we're going to push those down so they flatten out a little bit. Then we're going to do the same with the bottom. We're going to push it down so they flatten out a bit and they join together. Then we're going to continue along and we're going to flatten all of the little snaky pieces. And we're going to flatten them down so we create a nice flat hashtag kind of crisscross frame, okay? And you can just squeeze those together like that. Now we're not going too flat, so mine isn't totally flat. If I lift it up and show you what I mean, so it's not completely flat, it's still got a little bit of thickness, a little bit of depth to it, but they're flattened down, okay? Now if you go a bit crazy and you go totally mad flat crazy, it doesn't matter a huge amount, but we want it to be, let me put my fingers this way, about, you know, that thickness of clay, because the thicker the clay, the stronger it's going to be. Okay, so flatten them down until they're nice and flat like that, and if you want to, you can squeeze the ends and tidy those up a little bit. Now comes the fun bit. Now, this clay, we're not going to paint this week. Normally we would like to paint clay, but this clay is really cool because it dries really white. It dries a really, really light white color. Even though it's a kind of a dull kind of grey now, when it dries fully, it will be a little bit whiter. And contrasted against all of these lovely beads, it looks really, really cool. So now, what are we going to do with the beads? Well, all we're going to do with the beads is use them to decorate our clay. So, get out a few beads. Here's one, here's a little green one. Now you'll see they've got little holes in them. They're quite small. So all we're going to do is put a bead on the clay. Now for your very small fingers, I'm going to try and lift this up. Obviously mine is still a bit flexible. So if I lift it up and show you, all we're going to do is put a bead in on the clay. We're going to do where they crisscross over each other. Whoops, we'll do those first. So just pop it down. Now for you little fingers, big people, you can physically pop them in on the clay, and then all they're going to do is come around and we're going to show them. Okay, we're going to get our finger, put it on top, and we're going to push the whole way into the clay. Now it will probably come through a little bit on the back side, but we don't mind about that. And then we're going to get another one, and we're going to put it in, and once it's in place we're going to get a finger on top, and we're going to push, so it's nice and flat. And then we're going to keep going. Now if you want to, you can go through your colors and find beautiful symmetry colors, and so you could have all oranges, but I'm just going for this one. Anyone that I pick up, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to try not put two colors together, but we're going to go through, we're going to do our four corners, and once we get our corners done, then we're going to do the middles. So in the middle like this, pop one down, but each time we push it right through, right down to the bottom. So it's flat with your finger. Doesn't have to come through the bottom side, but we want the tops to be flat. Okay, I'm going to get another one, and we're going to, whoops, they're getting away. So this is really good for our little finger skills. These are quite small, so we do have to be a little bit careful with them. But it's really good for our finger practice. So we get those, and all we're going to do each time, get a few more colors, and you can fill these up as much as you want, okay? So then the distance between those two, we'll split that, pop another one in, a little orange one. Now like I said, I'm going to try and place them so I don't have two of the same color beside each other. It can get a bit tricky. You've got to look onto the left and the right of the color that's there and go, oops, can't do that. Pop them in. Get a few more colors now. I'm not going to use the white ones just because I know how white this clay is going to set. So, but you can use them. You should have plenty. You can even pop a little black one in there. They'll contrast beautifully. And you keep going around, and as you push down, if you're flattening your clay a little bit, you can just give it a little squeeze and pull it all back into its shape. Get a little blue one in there. And I'm going to get another pink one in here. And you basically keep going. Now I'm going to even put some on the little legs out here, right out on the edge. Can't use that one because that's got a yellow there. There you go, one there. Can use a blue one out there. And you keep going around, and you can fill them up as much as you want, I'm going to probably just get across these 4 legs. I'm going to leave it at that because I quite like it being this simple. And it's a beautiful picture frame that made out of clay. And what's wonderful is when it dries, that's where we're going to try and keep these legs as even as we can. So when it dries, you can stick a picture on the back and you can stand it up on the wall, and it makes a beautiful gift. Could even be an early Christmas gift, this, for someone. Said I wasn't going to do a white one, but I'm just going to do one. Brown, I got a brown one, that will go in there. And all I need is another one in here that's not, oh, a yellow will be quite good in there. And there you have a beautiful handmade beaded clay picture frame. Let me lift it up if I can. Now, like I said, when this dries, the clay will go like a really nice clean white. I'm going to turn it over so you can have a look. None of mine fully came through, but because you're pushing it down on the table, pushing the beads in, the back will be really flat, and it means you can get a nice picture just about that size, halfway through all of those like that, and you can just stick it on there. Wait till it sets and dries, till it goes really hard. All it will need is about maybe 24 hours, 36 hours, because the clay is not super thick. On a windowsill, leave it flat. It won't stick to anything, so you don't have to worry about that. And just leave it there, and it will go really hard, and it makes a beautiful little picture frame that you can give to somebody as a beautiful gift. So let me just pick it up again, hold it up there so you guys can see, and there you have it, your beautiful, fantastically wonderful clay picture frames. Good job, you guys. See you all next week. Bye.